Here, what you're looking at is my customer satisfaction summary page on my Amazon Seller Central, which at this point is live. 3 days ago, this time my account was in suspended, and I was worried, like losing sleep if it was ever coming back or not, because it was basically between me coming up with an appeal and a reason to get my account back, or never being a seller again on Amazon. Because once you're gone, man, you are gone. I know I could chuckle about it now because I'm also a big eBay guy. I always have been. As a buyer, I love Amazon, but as a seller, I mean, it's very hard. Their metrics and their defect rate is unforgiving, to say the least. I mean, eBay's is harsh, but eBay's being harsh, just you lose your seller discounts. With Amazon, you lose it all. I mean, you literally lose it all. They just kick your ass off. They don't want to know. And take it from me, because 7 years ago, they actually caught me doing a URL link, which I was trying to get SEO for my website like an idiot. They literally just said, "You're not welcome, don't come back." 5 years gone. And literally to the day, and it was weird because it was to the day, Seller Outreach asked me to come back, and just a little over a year ago is this account here, which you see on the screen. So if you're ever kicked off permanently for something like that, which is completely unrelated, if it means anything to you, I know 5 years is an attorney for everybody, but in this case, I want to talk about just suspension. I got suspended. This is the email. I'm sure you probably got the similar type of email. So let me start here. Now, they're basically saying that my performance rate, my metrics were, over 1%, which is their tolerance. You got to be 99% perfect. You got to be a perfect Amazon. That's just the rules. I mean, it's not a great rule. It's harsh, as I said, but it is what it is. I mean, if you want to be a seller on Amazon, you need to be customer centric. You need to take care of people and kiss their ass. I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't know how else to say it. And I'm okay with that, because I'm an e-commerce seller. Is what I do. I'm usually pretty good with dealing with people, working things out and giving people, the benefit of the doubt. I love people. I love sales. So for me, I'm a natural. But as good as I am, and as good as I think I am, and it doesn't matter if you're big, small, medium, large, if you do 1 million a year, if you do 10,000 a year, it doesn't matter how big or small you are. They don't need you. Remember, selling on Amazon or the internet or e-commerce site or third party like eBay, Amazon, any of these kinds of things, it is not a right. It's a privilege. Understand that. That's the thing that people don't understand, like me. I'm hard-headed, and I get, you get a little loose, you get a little comfortable in your little zone, and this is the kind of thing that happens when you let go. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. So basically, between A to Z claims, negative feedback, which was my big problem, and chargeback disputes, it all came back to kind of like not as described, listing, violation problems. That's how they categorize this whole thing. It doesn't really matter the reason. The outcome is the same. So what I did is I created this little letter. No, that's actually their letter. Here's my first one. My first comeback. And it says, as for items not being delivered. And I went back and checked all my records, by the way. Every single item was delivered. However, customers that live in apartment buildings and stuff like that say I would deliver it to them. I go to the mailbox, maybe their neighbor got it, or their dad got it, and he picked it up, or the neighbor grabbed the mail, whatever the story is. It all got there, but the customers just say, I never got it. Whatever. Someone stole the mail, the mailman dropped it to the wrong people because they're stupid and they do that kind of stuff. It happens. But Amazon doesn't care. And I should have probably just said, you know what, it's a $5 item, whatever the story is, here's another one, make them happy, and just move on, because you're making all this money every day on Amazon anyway. So again, be customer centric. That's the lesson that I had to learn on this one. But I wrote this thing saying that, I just got canceled, so it's going to take a few more days for my stuff to arrive, and that was that. As for the detail page issues of the items not being as described, this is what I had to say. Weak as it was, I said, I put all my active items in deactive state, like, on vacation mode, until just this past Monday when they actually suspended me. So should I need to modify, correct, or remove the listings that are not in totally accordance with the detail page requirements, I would have an opportunity to fix them before I relaunch. And I would love to speak to someone at Seller Performance, like, yeah, right, like, what a joke, to get, all the information to become a better seller and be in accordance with Amazon policies. And I was totally unintentional in what happened, so I'm sorry. So basically, this is my lame ass letter stating that, I did wrong. Please forgive me. Put me back on the site because I want to start making some money again. Didn't work. Didn't work. They came back at me and says, give us a real reason why we should reinstate you, then we'll talk. And that's what happened. So in my final response, what I did to them is I read everything that they had sent to me, and I tried to make sense of it because they're not very good. They kind of like, it's like a mystery you got to solve. They say that you have to go into the seller tools and educate yourself, look at your past feedback, your claims, your chargebacks, etc., all the bad feedbacks, all the negative situations that you've had in your seller account, put it all together, create a real action plan, come back to us and tell us how you're going to fix it going forward and being proactive. What they want to hear from you is how you're going to be proactive, not being overly reactive or bitter of what happened. You want to say, listen, if I don't ship correctly and things are not getting sent, my plan for me was to add signature confirmations for people who live in apartments. As far as items not being as described, I says if I'm going to list something against an existing ASIN, I said I'm going to add my own photographs, my own custom text describing what makes my item unique, different in quality, features, color, size, functionality, anything that has any variation from what they show on their catalog. And you have to be very, very descriptive. Be honest, represent the truth, say, listen, I'm going to do it this way, that's the reason why, and I'm going to cover all these different tasks. As far as customers, if you're a slow responder, say I'm going to have my email checked 3 times per day, once in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, once in the evening. Instead of taking off weekends, I'm going to be more proactive. I'm going to check my response time on my telephone if need be. I'm going to add data plan. I'm going to have whatever it is that can enable you to give their customers the right kind of service. Just look at it as if you were Amazon and they were the wrongdoer. What would you want to hear from them of how they're going to correct that, so that way it's not going to keep happening repeatedly? Because if it does happen repeatedly, again down the road, Amazon is not going to give you the same leash that they give you this time, because just because you have it now doesn't mean that they're going to give it to you again, and they don't have to give it to you. So make sure you take complete and utter responsibility when you respond to them. Be very clear, be very detailed, bullets, make it very understandable. Don't get lengthy. Don't give them sob stories. Don't tell them how sick your mother is. Don't tell them about your vacation. Don't tell them your computer is really slow and your keyboard's broken and the Q button doesn't type right. They don't care about your stories. They don't care about your issues. What they want to hear is that you've learned your lesson. You can look from your history and understand from that information the right course of action for you to be a better seller in the future. Keep it professional, keep it detailed, keep it simple, and put it back to them. And I wish you all the luck in the world, because if you're lucky as I was, I don't know if it was luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe that opportunity and the situation to just kind of go together. But if you're lucky, they will give you a letter like this saying that they've decided to reinstate me with full selling privileges. And when they do that, they actually will change the reserve amount, so that way they'll keep a little bit of your money for a little while, so you're not really on probation. But just in case situations arise where customers need money for chargebacks, disputes, whatever, they have a little bit of escrow on your side, just while you're warming up and getting back into the businesses. And then eventually they'll just leave you be. But keep the main thing, be respectful, be honest, and I would definitely advise you to just go on to like Amazon, and they have seller forums in there, and you get all these people. I've read them, and there's some people in there that tell you that they're a little harsh with what they say, and they say, listen, don't be a weasel, be responsible, take responsibility. That's what they want to see, and it is your fault, whether you believe it or not. If you're the kind of person that says, well, it's really not my fault, it's really this and that and this and that, listen, you could have all your reasons, but you don't have to be an Amazon seller, because I'm sure lots of people got reasons. You could either have reasons or you could have a business on Amazon.